Okay, hey guys, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking notes on how to write exponential equations. So when we are looking at these guys, I don't know why I just erased that. You're either looking for exponential growth, which means he's going to be increasing as you approach infinity, or exponential decay. And if an exponential is decaying, it's going down, okay? So this is growth and this is decay. So what I'd like for you to do is go on Desmos or use your TI Inspire to graph all of these functions. Decide by looking at it if it is growth or decay. See if you can figure out a pattern, okay? I'd also like you to figure out the multiplier. How are we getting from one point to another? And last but not least, I'd like for you to get the y-intercept, okay? You can do that by either looking at the table or by using your brain. There is a clue in the function, all right? So moving on, once you're done with that, okay, so hopefully you've graphed all that. The next thing I want to do is talk to you about this really cool flamingo shirt that I found. Notice his, look how cute he is. Notice his little feathers. They are glitter, okay? And so I was going to buy this shirt and on J. Crew, and it says that I would get an extra 30% off the price. So notice how the price of this shirt is $29.50, and then it says I'm going to get an extra 30% off, okay? How much am I going to pay for this shirt? Do you know? All right. So if you're going to try to figure out how much I'm going to pay for this shirt, if I'm getting 30% off, doesn't that mean I'm actually paying how much? Right. Hopefully you got it right. If I'm starting with 100% and I'm getting 30% off, that means I'm paying 70%. So what I can do is I can take $29.50 and multiply it by 0.70. That's 70%. And that'll tell me how much I'm paying for the shirt. So do it and make sure you get it right. All right. So what I'd like to do is we're going to be doing word problems in just a second. Okay. And it's going to talk about percent increase, percent decrease, things like that. So I want to talk about if you see decrease or increase, like how does it work? Okay. So if we're getting a decrease of 50%, how much am I going to end up paying? Right. And you're correct when you say 50%, because if they're taking half off, that means you're only paying half. So what you're doing is you're starting with 100% and you're subtracting 50%. All right, well, that was easy. It's just 50%, which you can say 0.5. That's it as a decimal. All right. Well, what happens if I'm increasing it by 50%? How much are you going to end up paying then? Well, you're starting with 100% and you're adding 50%. So what that is 150%. That's how much you're ending up paying, okay? And if I had to turn that into a decimal, I'll move the decimal over twice to the left. That's 1.5, okay, as a decimal, all righty? So what I would like for you to do, I will do one more. If we're decreasing by 20%, how much am I actually paying? Well, I'm starting with 100 and I'm going down 20%. So that means what I'd actually end up paying is 80%. Or if I convert that to a decimal, it's 0.80. All right. I'm going to show you something that's disturbing, and I don't even know if I want to show you, but I'm showing you anyway. Calculators can compute percents for us. So if I wanted to take 65%, notice it's the button next to the G, and I press enter, it'll tell me it's the decimal is 0.65. Why this is important is because if we say like 5%, many people want to say that that's 0.5. But it's actually 0.05. So that's important to note. It's embarrassing. You should be able to compute percents on your own, but just in case you need a little extra help or security. All right. So I would like for you to do these three, and then let's move on. All right. So what you will be asked to do, in future questions is to write equations for exponential growth and exponential decay. And notice how these are both word problems, okay? Exponential growth problems are a lot easier, and decay is a little tricky. Okay. These are the formulas, and I'll kind of talk to you how to use it once we read and answer the question. So let's read it. In 1971, there were 294,100. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of females. Okay. Participating in high school sports. Since then, the number has increased at 8.5% per year. Once they introduce percents, that's a multiplier. So what that means is that this is an exponential function. okay? Because it's going up 8.5% per year, okay? So it wants us to write an equation that can be used to model the number of females participating in sports 2 years since 1971. All right. So this is the formula that we're going to use. I'm going to name it f of t because they didn't tell me to name it otherwise, okay? And C just stands for my start, okay? Where am I starting? Just like in the other exponential equations, 2,000, 200,000, 294,105. That's where I'm starting. Now I have to do 1 plus R. R is my rate, okay? And so my rate is 8.5%. And then it's raised to the t. That's my independent variable, just like x. It's t because it's time. Okay, so that's pretty much the equation, except for sometimes you can leave it like that. That's not a problem. It's correct. I would write this. If I move the decimal 2 to the left for the 8.5%, it's 0.085 and I'm adding 1 to it, okay? So these two guys are equivalent. And if you look at my calculator here, if I scroll up, you'll see I did 1 plus 8.5%, and there's that number kind of condensed, all right? So that's that. That's the equation, all right? And now we have to figure out how many females do they think is going to participate in high school sports in 2011 if this trend continues. So what we have to figure out is, okay, I started in 1971. How many years did it take to get to 2011? 71 to 81 to 91, 2001, 70, 80, 90, 2001, 2011. That was 40 years. Okay. So what that means is instead of writing T, I need to evaluate F of 40. So I'm going to type in, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to put him over here. Come here, little friend. Where did he go? Hello. Oh, it restarted. How great. Okay. So while we're waiting for that I'm going to put the handheld calculator on this side. OneNote is cleaning up its mess and it's opening up. And I'm going to drag him over here. Okay. So let's see. You could do this one of two ways. You can either type it in on the calculator right here, or what you can do is type it in on the graph and look at the table. I'm just going to type it in. So 294,105 parentheses 1.085 raised to the 40th power. All right. So, whoa, what the heck happened here? Okay. What does this e to the 6 mean? That means take this decimal and move him 6 places over. It won't usually happen where that happens. And it should make sense. Like 7.68585 is not necessarily a number. But if I plucked him up and I put him down here, this is how many people. So you can at least see here, 5850. Okay. So what that e to the 6 means is take the decimal place and move it 1, 2, 3, or take the decimal place with the 7.6. Sorry, it was here, and move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So that's where it is if you look here. So that was unfortunate because it was so big. Usually the numbers won't be that big, but that's saying 7,685,000 females about will play high school sports. Okay. This one's a little more tricky, and it happens when your money is depreciating, meaning it's going down. Okay, so you just went out and bought a brand new Jeep, and its starting price is $50,000. Okay, and Jeeps depreciate at about 10% per year. Okay, so if we're starting at $50,000, okay, sometimes people will just want to put 10% here. But when you do that, what you're writing is that 10% is left. What has to go on the inside is like what you're taking away. So 1 minus 10%, because how much is actually left, guys? 90%. So that's what's got to go in here, and that's why it's tricky. Okay. So again, the common mistakes would be to put the 10 right in. So if you want to sell your Jeep in 7 years, how much money are you going to make? Well, or how much money will it be worth? So you know kind of how much to price your car at. Instead of writing T, I'm going to put 7. Okay. And so this number should be smaller than 50,000. So 5123 times 0.9, all raised to the 7th power. All right. So my Jeep will be worth about $23,914.80. All right. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I would like for you to write the equations for all three of these problems and see if you can answer them. All right. Thanks so much. This was fun.